How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today, the deck profile for FIENDSMITH CHIMERA, the deck I played in the last episode of Local Chronicles. As promised, if you didn't watch that, it uploaded 2 days ago on the channel, so go check it out. See this deck in action, how it actually plays, because today I'm going to be showing you the deck list and a few basic combos to get your FIENDSMITH engine running. Obviously, FIENDSMITH is super hyped, super expensive right now. I've been trying to cut down the engine as much as possible to make it as small as possible in this deck because it's just like hyper searchable. So let's dive into it. What I'm going to show you today is the deck list that I used on the sneak peek tournament. Ended up going third place in the tournament, which was pretty nice. Only losing to Yubel, which is fine. The deck is really strong. And also a few basic lines to show you how easy it is to get your FIENDSMITH engine online. So let's start off with the FIENDSMITH engine, just to show you that it's actually pretty small, at least in the main deck. 1 Lurry, 1 Tract, and 2 Engraver. The deck is very, very consistent in getting to the FIENDSMITH engine. We don't even use Moon Goddess of the Closed World. We just use the Chimera stuff and the Evil Hero stuff to get to FIENDSMITH Engraver. So the engine can be really, really small. You just want to be able to cycle through all of these, but you don't necessarily need or want to draw them. What this gives you, obviously, is more negates, gets you easier into Appaloosa, gets you easier into DDD, a Wave King High Caesar, and, just more bodies. Very synergistic with the deck as well. Just increases the ceiling by a ton, honestly. Then we have 2 Nightmare Apprentice. I did not play 3. I don't think you need to play 3. You can actually brick on like too many starters, right? So you rather have like 3 of the normal summon because you also don't necessarily go into the normal summon all the time. I think these are absolutely fine. You can search this also. Also an expensive card, so might as well cut it down a bit. 3 Swords Knight, pretty basic. This card is your best starter. One of the best. I think Gazelle is honestly on par. We did play 3. And of course 3 of the Cornfield Codal. These are your best 3 of starters. And then we're obviously playing 2 Baphomet. Now, the strategy here with this deck, previously we would go Mirror Swords Knight into Baphomet, search 2 cards, which is really, really strong. But now, since you're dealing with FIENDSMITH and the FIENDSMITH engine exceeds fusion monsters, this card is the only card that locks you into fusions in the deck. Like, this is the only card. So you don't want to resolve that before you run through your entire combo, which I'll show later, but this card, if you want to activate it, this will happen last on your turn, right? Because you don't want to get locked out of your very strong Xyz and Link monsters. We play 1 Tau because this is the best way to just summon out a Diabels from the graveyard, extend, summon more bodies to the field. This card is very, very good, and it's really important to play. And then for the FIENDSMITH supplement your engine, we're playing the Evil Heroes. If you didn't see these going around, this is the gist, basically. You have Evil Hero, Sinister Necrom, which is a Fiend monster, which you can send off of the Fusion Baphomet to the graveyard. Now, you can just banish this card from your graveyard and special summon any Evil Hero from your hand or deck, which is going to be a Dustle Gold. The effect doesn't matter at all because this is just a light Fiend, and you make FIENDSMITH's Requiem off of it, and you just start your combo. So it's even more searchable and more easier to get to than the Moon Goddess, and this is why we don't play the Moon Goddess at all, because there's just no room and also no need. And we're playing 1 Barrier Statue of the Abyss and 2 Edgem Chain. We are playing 3 Patrick in the engine, right? And then we're also playing, of course, 2 Polymerization. This is the Patrick engine. I used to play 3 Edgem Chain and only 2 Patrick because seeing this with Nightmare Apprentice was just so good. But I figured out that getting access to Polymerization with Patrick is better than just drawing this, right? Because you want Polymerization in your hand so you can fuse 3 times per turn and not just once or twice with Chimera Fusion, right? So getting access to Polymerization is really, really good on top of your combo. And Barrier Statue of the Abyss, honestly, it probably is good against Snake Eye, which I haven't played against in the tournament, but obviously against Yubel, it's horrible, right? But I think it does have its uses. And it's also fine in the main deck because you can just fuse it as material, as a Fiend monster, whenever you want. So I think it's fine. We did play 3 Chimera Fusion. We play 2 Talents and 1 Called by the Grave. And then for hand traps, we played 3 Droll, which was fine. Just be careful to make sure it seals the deal, because this prevents you from going into Guardian Chimera, or activating the effect rather. Then 3 Ash and 3 Imperm. This is our beautiful non-engine. And this is the main deck. I believe it was actually 40 cards, but somebody's gonna correct me in the in the comments for sure. Chimera engine in the extra deck, we're playing 1 Chimera King of Phantom Beast. You will not go up into this as much as you think. Like, it's going to be a bit more rare because your starter is always going to be Berfomat, right? And then Chimera the Illusion Beast. I personally just love this card. If you don't, like, this just goes for game really easily, negates like untargetable stuff. It's really, really good. It's also very good against Yubel because they have 0 attack. If they don't have Nightmare Pain, right, it just makes their Yubel a 0 attack monster with no effect that you can attack into multiple times, right? So yeah, basically this is the Chimera stuff. We're playing 1 Magnum. Fun fact, this card is a Light Fiend. I actually used this to go up into FIENDSMITH's Requiem, a very important card to play. We're playing 1 Guardian Chimera, and then 1 of the new Aerial Eater, which I'm not 100% sure I'm going to keep in the deck. If you don't know what this card does, this is the new TCG exclusive that was released alongside the other Necroquip Princess. Just like broken Fiend cards for FIENDSMITH as TCG exclusive. It's also Wind, so it's kind of synergistic in this deck because Berfomat is going to be that as well, that Chimera rather. So it requires 2 Fiend monsters with the same attribute, right? So this might look more in tune with FIENDSMITH, but there's going to be a lot of hands where you get like either this. If you played Chimera, you know this, right? These 3, you don't really have a fusion with them because they're all Fiends. So it would be like a Garura, obviously, which we don't play in this deck. But if you have these 2 and a way to fuse, you're stuck. But now with this card, if you fuse 2 of these, right? And sometimes I would also like fuse these 2, which are relative bricks, right? But it gets you to Aerial Eater. And Aerial Eater sends 1 Fiend monster from the deck, and you just send Sinister Necrom, and you start your combo. And with Beatrice, you can actually get access to a lot of other stuff as well, right? If it's in your graveyard, you can banish 2 level 6 or higher Fiend monsters with the same attribute to summon itself. This won't really come up in Chimera, personally. And I'm not sure if this is required, right? But it's a common. You can test it out. It came up once for me, and it was good. It was really good. The second Guardian Chimera, you might want to consider because they're always like really good to play 2 of. FIENDSMITH Engine, we're playing 1 Requiem, 1 Sequence, and 1 Lachroma. Insane Engine, and this card is just so clutch, being able to burn for 1200. If you haven't seen the Local Chronicles episode, it actually just won me 2 matches on its own, right? Incredible engine. Obviously, this is why we play the FIENDSMITH Engine. Unfortunately, they're going to be hyped in price, but, you know, it is what it is currently. Apo, Wave King, SP Little Knight, and Apo, Beatrice, Wave King, and SP Little Knight. And then Chaos Angel. I didn't make Chaos Angel once, but I did make all of these because they're so incredibly easy to make. I'll show you the side deck quickly. I don't think it's extremely relevant to everyone, but this is the side deck I built for this local. It was obviously Diabelle's, which is just so good against so many decks. Against Yubel, being able to prevent Super Poly. Against Runix, which you will see in the Local Chronicles episode. Against even Snake Eye, where you know a deck that is reliant on field spells is going to place the field spell face down in the field zone, so you know what card that is. They can really bluff you. So the added pressure of this on the board, it's incredible, but I think it's more side-worthy this format because there's less board breakers and more hand traps. And then 1 Simul Archfiends and 1 Eris. I was really scarred from last week at Locals where I faced 3 Tenpais. And this card obviously like cooks Tenpais. Archfiend Eris, you send this to the graveyard with Berfomat, and it searches any Archfiend card. And Simul Archfiends says that for the rest of the turn, neither player can summon monsters of the same type they control in terms of like Synchro, Xyz, Fusion, or Link. So once they have like 1 Synchro, they can't Synchro anymore on the field. So this little package of like searchable Chimera stuff. And I played 3 Dark Ruler because this deck can break a board and kill. But with like Snake Eye boards and Yubel boards, I figured that, you know, I need some help. 2 Cosmics, obviously. Look at this rarity. It's so nice, right? I like that there's no stamp as well. I chose this and not QCR just to have a little mixing it up. Also the ulti duster. Standard back row, you're going to locals basically, so you can expect a lot of different things. D-Barrier, again, scarred of like Pearly and Tenpai. I did not play this card at all. Might have been a bad move. 2 evenly and 1 there can be only 1. 1 me a game against you, Bell. Obviously, your deck can play really, really well under there can be only 1. You have Beasts, Fiends, Warriors, whatever, right? And evenly is just a good card. Now, I did want to show you how you can get access to the Fiendsmith cards, right? So you can just start off with Nightmare Apprentice here, right? Special summon it by discarding any card, which let's say it's going to be Called by the Grave, right? We're going to discard Called by the Grave to the graveyard. And then we're going to search any illusion monster, right? And that can be Cornfield Codal. But in this case, I think we can just go Cornfield Codal, pitch it, go for the Mirror Swords Knight. I don't really like going into the Swords Knight a lot because I'm just like scared of losing to Ash. You can just go from Cornfield Codal directly to this, and this will grab you a Chimera Fusion, right? And this is like the very, very basic combo where you fuse these two together and you summon the Baphomet here. Our Baphomet, the mythical king of phantom beasts. So you will have Baphomet 1 to dump, and then Gazelle 2 to search an illusion monster. Once you have everything here, I would just search for a Tau, because it can bring back things, and you will have follow-up either way. And we're going to send the Sinister Necrom to the graveyard, right? Now we're going to banish it to summon our Adusted Gold from the deck, which will turn into our Fiendsmith's Requiem, which we will tribute as a quick effect to summon our Fiendsmith Engraver. And now you already have 2 Fiends that are level 7, right? It's already a really, really good start, right? So now you can tribute these 2. Basically, you always want, like what you could do here, just to get like extra bodies here, you can go bring back the Chimera Fusion here and fuse with Tau and Baphomet into a Magnum the Reliever, which will just give you a draw and more bodies on the field. And now, the problem is, this is something that you really need to know. Tau locks you from the graveyard for the rest of the turn, right? So we're not going to do that at all. We're just not going to do that. Not going to do that at all. You need to remember that. Now, you can go ahead and link these 2 into Sequence. And Sequence is going to fuse away our Adusted Gold and Requiem, shuffle them back into the deck, and summon the Lachroma, which can add you the Fiendsmith to your hand, right? This can add the Fiendsmith from the graveyard to your hand. You discard it, and now you can go ahead and obviously we will want to bring back the Chimera Fusion earlier, right? Or you can do it now. It's in the graveyard anyway. So you can fuse again. We're going to be able to fuse again. And this will go ahead and search for Fiendsmith Tract, which will search Slurry, discard Slurry, summon Slurry back. Now, this is a very, very basic combo that you can do. Now, what we can do here, we still want to be able to, like, obviously this is Apollousa, and this is all off of 1 card, basically. So it's just very, very easy to access your Fiendsmith engine, right? And now from this point, we can just make Apollousa for 3. That's already 3 negates. And again, we're not locked into anything. Now, what you can do here is inflict damage to your opponent, right? By shuffling with Lachroma, shuffling back your Light Fiend. And now what we can do is go ahead and activate Fiendsmith Engraver, shuffling back Lachroma, special summon it itself, and then you can go Chimera Fusion once again for another Baphomet, so you can get the negates that are on the board, right? So you can stop here if you want, right? You can stop here where you have 2 negates and then 3 more negates, but you can also activate Tau here to summon back the Apprentice, and here you can make a Beatrice for whatever you want. So that's just like a basic combo. Usually this deck kind of relies more on multiple card combos, but it's just like the fact that Sinister Necrom is just such a good card combined with this, you will have different combinations of different things, and the hands are like extremely versatile. So this is the deck. Hope you enjoyed. I really enjoyed playing with this. Leave your comment down below. What do you want me to play in the next Local Chronicles? I would love to hear that. And again, if you're still here and haven't checked Local Chronicles Episode 5 with FIENDSMITH CHIMERA in the, what's the set called? Infinite Forbidden Sneak Peek, then make sure to check it out. The link is going to be right here. And yeah, like the video, subscribe. See you in the next one. Peace.